So I had a fascinating little story recently, which embodied a lot of the principles that I have in life about problem solving, patience and perseverance, how little things can matter in a big way. And it had to do with the fact that all of a sudden one of the bolts or something broke on my toilet seat, right? And it's very odd. There were two bolts that connected it, and one slipped out, and one came out really easily. And the other would not move at all. You know, there's this like bracket underneath, and you know, it had been there for years, and getting it out. And so I got this halfway on, halfway off type of thing. And so now I've got a challenge. And, you know, I start getting tools and playing around, and the thing's just not coming. And it starts spreading over the course of a day or another day. You know, I go to a hardware store and get some advice, or, you know, and I'm starting thinking, do I need a handy person, and all this kind of thing. So I keep working on it, and one time I go to a hardware store again, and I call, and like, now I'm flummoxed. This thing is, you know, somebody online, they're saying you have to cut it off, get a hacksaw, you know, like all these escalations up to a hacksaw. And I'm thinking, this is an old screw. I'm not even sure me with a hacksaw is going to get it off, and all this kind of thing. And so one trip to the hardware store, they give me a card for a handyman, a handy person. And I call the number, and I speak to a woman on the phone. And she says, well, you know, it's $210 just to come out. And I'm like, this is one screw. I don't want to spend $210 just to start. I mean, that probably would have solved it. But anyway, I said, no. So she and I were talking, and she got a bit friendly with me. And she says, well, you know, there's this spray, penetrating spray. You can spray it on this and get a wrench underneath. She says, yeah, I'm familiar with toilet bowl problems, right? So I'm like, all right, I get this penetrating, you know, you spray this stuff on the screw, and it's supposed to penetrate the rust or stuckness, whatever it be. I do that a few times. Maybe I get a little bit of a turn. And then I call another handyman, and this guy's very conducive. He says, well, there's a woman, and he says, this was Friday, late Friday afternoon. She says, well, she can come out this evening. And I go, okay. So we set it up, and he was going to work with me on the price and all this. And then at the last minute, she can't come that night. She's going to come Saturday morning. So I say, okay, fair enough. But this is what I'm getting at in terms of problem solving. My mind keeps working on it. And I start saying, I see a video online about the penetrating stuff, and it says, like, some guy says, oh, he left it overnight. So I'm starting to think, you know, this penetrating solution spray could really work. So I do another round, and I let it sit for a couple hours. And finally, I get some motion, get a little separation between the bowl and the screw itself. And starting to get some progress. Take another break, but I still can't. This thing is still, here's the screw. So the thing being, I keep going and going, and let the penetrating solution work some more. And finally, the bottom drops out. The point I'm making, too, is that this is the screw. I've never got, this one screw is still stuck in there. But what happened with all the patience and perseverance is a white latch, or, you know, molding around it. Somehow that, through all the back and forth, came off and slipped off the bottom. And the thing just dropped away, and got a little suggestion to even to get a seat, you know, with an automatic, with a soft closing, does it on its own, a nice little trick. So anyway, the point being, it took about 3 days, and the screw turned. And I don't know, when you're in something small like that, you know, you don't want to you want to keep to your principles. You know, I didn't want to spend $210. Even calling someone for one screw seemed like a lot, but, you know, if I had to, I would have. You know, thankfully, when I texted back, the person was going to come Saturday morning. They were very respectful and said, okay, no problem, great, no worries. I said, I got it myself late Friday night, but it probably took 2 or 3 days of working at it. I ordered a tool from Amazon at one point, a special toilet wrench, supposed to, in tight spaces. That didn't really work. All kinds of things were going on. But the funny thing, too, is that I got the thing without really solving the basic problem. That the solution came in another way. The really recalcitrant part didn't give, but the combined effort and pressure in other areas, cold to diamond pressure, the combined pressure did bring about a solution. And then I was a little trepidating about putting the new one on. The new one went on in about 10 minutes, and that was great as well. So, the morals being patience and perseverance. Solutions come up. If you stay with a problem, your mind keeps working. It keeps, unfolding newer insights. I kept learning more about the parts, little parts here and there as I was doing, and it got me closer to a solution. And I also had some luck. This is one I really didn't think I was going to solve. But, the first one coming off so easily was a magical thing. And another piece or two along the way. So, patience and perseverance, one of my golden things. Here I am out walking the walk, talking about our coaching a bit. Beautiful morning out here, springtime. Principle, fairness, finding your purpose is key. This is what it's about, because there's a crazy psychology these days. I don't know everything, but I know it in a unique way. And purpose is an answer. Work with us. You're going to find the resilience, forbearance, vision to get your goals, to be successful in an appropriate way. About our coaching a bit. You can look into Gentle Genius Coaching, learn how to stand up against bullying of any kind, and also your own personal growth. They're all things that I work with and that we specialize in. And it's like the turning of the screw. The little battles sometimes can bring a big effort. So take a look at our websites, and thank you.